Hi, everyone. I'm Kanika Gupta. I am a television journalist, podcast host of That's Total Mom Sense, wife, and mom of three. I am having a fangirl moment right now because I am with the beautiful, talented singer songwriter, actress, and author who has grown up right alongside us. She's been singing her whole life and began her musical career as a founding member of Destiny's Child. And here we are with children of our own. Please allow me to say her name, Kelly Rowland.
Hey, that's a heck of an intro.
Thank you. I'm so
Wow.
happy to be here with you.
Thank you. So happy to be here with you too. You said mom of three. I was like, salute. Like, oh my goodness.
Yes, yes. No, I feel like, moms, we can do it all. We really can do it all. And our hearts are full. We have a full house, so
Yes.
great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We can do it all. I feel like every day I'm learning how to do it all.
Yeah.
But it's definitely day by day.
Yes, yes. And I want you to know, Kelly, that you have fans around the world, but your OG fans are moms
Oh,
because we just understand you on a completely different level now.
P.S. I feel like since we've all grown up together, there's a different way in which we approach motherhood. We try to
Yes.
do it in a very honest and authentic way. And I love watching that. I really, really love watching that. Because I remember when I first had Titan,
Hmm.
there was, I had this seatbelt on the wrong way. I'm learning, I didn't know. And
Yeah.
someone wrote on my Instagram and they were like, "What kind of mother are you?" And it was like that kind of like that thing and that
Right.
behavior that I feel like is
Judgment.
not cool because we're learning how to do this thing. I mean, it's a way to. By the way, they were right, and but that's not the point. It's the way we communicate to each other. It should
Right.
always be with grace, and it should always be with humility. Because I've never, or as my mother would say, I ain't never heard of the perfect mama.
Yeah.
We're all figuring it out as we go. So when it was, I saw this whole kind of movement of a lot of that, like not necessarily accusatory, but it's just the judgmental side, like that judgmental mom
Hmm.
situation that was happening. I'm like, get that out of here. Which
Yes.
probably means when you really think about it and start to break it down, it's like, oh, they're self critical. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I'm just thinking
Right.
that they should probably give themselves grace because,
Yeah.
they're expecting everyone else to be perfect. But I'm not perfect. I don't get it right all the time.
No.
I try as
Yeah.
much as I can, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, exactly. It's so important to be just honest with ourselves and lean on each other and not be afraid to ask for help or whatever
Yes,
it may be.
yes.
Um, if we were to go back in time, though,
Hmm.
if you were to write a letter to your teenage self, what would you tell her?
I would tell her to trust her gut, that she is smarter than she thinks, to surround yourself with I mean, my girlfriends are great, so I feel like I really hit the lotto there. But I would say as far as business is concerned, don't be afraid to jump, for
Mm,
sure. I think that you should. I wish I would have taken more risks on myself even at a younger age, because the older I get, I'm like, dang, you're really smart. Like,
yes,
but why
yes.
didn't I think that when I was younger? I'm like, wow, like just tapping into that early. And maybe that's, I know with my kids now, I'm like, oh, Titan, you're so smart. But that's, I wish I would have heard even more of that when I was younger. So I do that with Titan for sure. I don't
Mm,
overdo it because there's a such thing as overdoing it. But I definitely tell him when he figures things out so brilliantly with his Legos or uses common sense for certain things. I'm like, dude, you are so smart,
yeah,
So I'm always amazed by that with my kids.
I love that. I feel like when you do jump, the parachute appears. So you have
Yes.
to just trust.
And you
That's
build the parachute while you're jumping.
Yeah, that too.
You build the parachute while you're jumping, which is
Yeah,
a real superhero trick.
yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You and Tim have, such a beautiful family. Did you always know that you wanted to be a mom someday?
I did. I knew I wanted to be a mom. Actually, there was a plan in my head to be a mom at 25. And
Okay.
yeah, when
We had those timelines.
exactly when business started rolling along, I was like, well, there's no time for that for me right now. But I
Right.
watched my other friends back home become moms at 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And I was like, I'm really behind. That's all I kept saying was I was really behind. And at 33, I became a mom. So I think that it happens when it's supposed to happen.
Yes, same here. Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Your mother, Doris, was a
Yes.
force in your life. What are some life lessons that she imparted to you that have shaped who you are today and that you're passing on to your kids?
Oh gosh. Affection. She was so affectionate. Like, I always wanted to hold your hand, I always wanted to be next to you. I always wanted to look at you. And like when I remember I would sing the theme song to Amen, which was a television show. And
Uh-huh.
every time you would hear the organ come in on the show, I would hear it and I would jump up and my mom was like, sing, baby. So that was like her motivating me and hyping me up and getting me all excited. And so those are the things that I like love and take away and remember from her to like Christmas. This house is coated in Christmas, like Christmas, Christmas, Christmas.
Oh
There's
my goodness.
decorations in every room. I'm baking a pound cake or trying. I'm trying to figure out like just to gather and get the essence of her. And but there's so many things that she taught me. But I love that affection was a really, really big one for me.
Oh, I love that. And it shaped, what you went on to do in your life.
Hmm.
So that's just really beautiful. She knew that.
She did. She did.
And you sadly lost her 3 weeks after your first child was born.
Hmm.
And I can't imagine what it was like, on those long nights, especially when you're a first time mom with your baby.
Yeah.
And just what was it like grieving that loss? Because many of us have gone through that,
Yeah.
especially after these really trying years.
Yeah. I think that for me, you about to make me cry. It was hard because I was trying to hold it together for my kid. Because
Hmm.
I was like, well, I don't know what's going on with my body, and is it hormones, and is he gonna get a sad hormone? And these were all the things I was thinking about. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't want to cry. I don't want him to see me cry. My cousin's like, he can't see you cry, baby. He's just still has that gray thing over his eyes. It was so many things. Like I
Yeah.
was feeling to, um, do I breastfeed? Can I breastfeed right now because of everything happening? And then, funny enough, it was a shortage, and I eventually stopped because I had nothing to give. So it was, now that I really think about it, and when I talk about it, even in therapy, I was literally hobbling along. Like I was really trying to figure it out as I went. Like literally the whole thing that we just made up about the parachute, I was figuring it out. I was figuring it out as I was going. And for me, I was missing her, grieving her. I wanted her to be with me to, when, because all my other girlfriends had their moms with them. After a girlfriend of mine had a baby like a week after Titan, 2 weeks after Titan, I had girlfriends that had babies, and their moms were right there with them.
Yeah.
So that was a trigger for me. And every time I would see them with their moms, it would be a trigger for me. So,
Sure.
because I missed my mom. So it was a really hard time, but I'm so grateful to my support system because I know specifically Angie B, she never wanted me to feel like I was missing something. She was always next to me. Michelle and B were always next to me. As soon as they heard the news, they were right to where I was with my mom in Atlanta at that time. So it was a transition and a new normal, and I missed her, and I still miss her to this day, but I can definitely feel her, And it's moments that I'm in motherhood and I say something like her, and I'll literally like look around the room and go, I know you're here. So I appreciate those moments, and I embrace those moments because I want to let her know like she is still felt, you know.
Yes, yes, and she is so proud of you.
Thank,
I know she's watching over you right now.
thank you. I believe that.
Mhm.
I believe.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You recently reunited with your father, and I love the interview that you did with Hoda Kotb. It
Yeah.
was just so heartwarming. And I'm sure there are people, in this audience who are navigating their own generational issues. So how did you find the courage to reconcile with your dad? And now you have him as an involved grandpa to
Yeah.
your boy.
It's the journey there was a lot of self journey,
Mhm.
in doing the work on myself, and understanding that I had to be okay with whatever the outcome was, because I could have reached out to him and he's like, I'm not ready, or I don't ever want to meet you. I knew that that could be a possibility.
Right.
And I was okay with it. I made peace with that. And when it was time to reach out to him, I was like, oh boy, what's gonna happen? So it was a lot of that anxiety, which actually really like made me like anxious actually all over my house. I think that I was a little bitey at my husband at times, and he was
Oh,
like,
that happens.
nothing to do with me. It's cool.
Right.
But it does. It takes a toll on everything. You have like when reuniting with someone, it takes a toll on everything, not just yourself, but everyone that you encounter, because you're dealing with so many emotions that will come up in for this time. And then I reached out to him, and we set up a meeting place, but literally walking towards the room in which he was, and he was sitting and he was waiting for me, my feet felt like they weighed at least a ton. A ton. I never had that kind of feeling ever in my life. So this was a brand new feeling, a brand new emotion. And as soon as I sit down, well, sorry, before I sat down, I knew all these things I was going to ask him and tell how disappointed I was, and this, and like it was very like it was this. I knew I
Yeah.
was going to bite at him, right? As soon as I sat down, I couldn't think of one question. Not one.
Wow.
So I literally let the spirit lead me, and I sat down and I listened. Everything that this man told me, I'd already heard my mother's side. This was the closing of the story. And
Mhm.
whatever I missed, you know what I mean? And I had to be
Right.
okay with
Fill the
whatever I
gaps.
missed. Exactly. Like, because
Yeah.
sometimes you're not going to get the whole part of the story. We're human. Somebody's going to
Yeah.
miss something. So,
Right.
I had to allow them space and grace. And that's what I did. And we gave each other a hug, and I showed him pictures of his grandchildren, or his
Oh.
grandson at that time, because it was just
Mhm.
one. And he was like, can I please meet him? Like it was like, because this is his only grandson, his only
Oh.
grandson.
Oh.
So I remember the closer we got, he was like, are you gonna have another one? I'd love to be with you when you're pregnant, baby. So I mean, before that, Tim and I were already thinking about having another one. But when I called him and told him before anybody ever knew, he bawled his eyes out.
Oh my goodness.
He
I'm sure he
was
was over the
so
moon. Wow.
happy. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
called him from the hospital room when Noah was born. I told him how much like he was in my life again. And it's learning how to
Yes.
share that space with him too. You know what I mean? Even like us keeping up with each other every day. Like for him, it kind of felt like a hazy dream until we started talking every day. And he was like if I didn't call him, if a week passed and I only talked to him for one day, he's like, are you mad at me? Are you going to leave so he's operating off of, we're both operating in our trauma, and
Right.
trying to figure,
Right.
figure out the relationship. So needless to say, he is the sweetest man. I just love him so much. And I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed again, for sure.
That fills my heart. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that Titan and Noah have him.
Me too. Me too.
Doting grandfather in their life. It's beautiful.
Yes, it really is. And I also wanted them to, like, I wanted to do 23 and Me with my dad and the
Mhm.
ancestry line and start figuring that out for them, because my husband has a whole book of all his family's history, and I'm like, I want that. So I started
Yes.
trying to put the pieces to the puzzle. Like, it's, I think it's beautiful to know that, especially being African American. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
all of our history was taken away from us. So we're literally trying to find our way back, back to that all over again, you know?
That's incredible. That's incredible. Many of us are part of the sandwich generation, as they say. We're raising our young kids and we're taking care of our elderly parents. And I know this firsthand. My mom was recently diagnosed with a neurological issue called aphasia,
Mhm.
and just seeing her ailing is so difficult for my sister and me.
I'm sure.
Um, but we still have to show up.
Mhm.
I have to show up for my mom and my parents when I can,
Mhm.
and my kids. I have 5-year-old twins and a 3-year-old, and so many of us are in this just juggle.
Yes.
So, what advice do you have for moms in that situation?
Oh my goodness. I think as moms, it always sounds like we're doing this.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? We're always giving,
Yes.
giving, 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 giving. And I think that it's hard to see your parents ailing. Um, and you you feel helpless.
Yeah.
I think that you try to figure out everything that you can do to possibly save the situation. You know what I mean? To make everything better. I think that's what kids just automatically want to do for their parents.
Hmm.
And I think that now it's really about trusting yourself and trusting your instincts and knowing what you need in the midst of that too, because we'll give until we have nothing left. But if we have nothing left, what are we giving? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? What are we giving? So I always say to every mom to pour back into yourself in some sort of way. I know you
Yes.
feel like, oh, well, I didn't do enough, but that's not true. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're already saying I didn't do enough, that means you did a ton.
Right. Right. And you
That
can't pull from an empty cup.
you
You just
can't.
can't.
You can't. So I'd say do something that gives you peace, so then you can continue to be a peace to everyone too. But if you don't have no peace, you won't have any to give.
It's true. It's so true.
Yeah.
I want to
Amen.
lighten it up.
Amen.
I want to talk about your fabulous kids. Your son Titan has this big personality, and he was so ready to become a brother. I heard you share this on some interviews. He has this nurturing quality to him, and he was ready, and he named his baby brother. And so
Yes.
you have to tell us that whole backstory now.
So,
Amazing.
oh my gosh, Titan has this. Um, I have to share that video. Maybe on Mother's Day I'll share it. But Titan has. We have this video of Titan where he
Mhm.
says, before he goes to school, he goes, "I want a brother," and I was like, "Oh." So I didn't give him at the time. I was like,
Right.
oh, it's a lot. But he says, I want a brother. And I said, what, baby? He says, I want a baby brother. I want a baby brother. And for years, he's been asking for a sibling. And
Right.
so then one day he says, I want a baby brother so that we can we can make life together. Like we can go through life to that's what he meant. Like we can go through. I said, "You mean we can go through life together?" He's like, "Yes, we'll be my best friend. He'll be my best friend." I said, "Okay." And then I looked at Tim and I was like, "Man, let's do it." And so it was like it was a couple months that passed and then COVID happened and I was like, let's just try to see what happened. And we got Noah. But now he's praying for a sister. And
Oh, look at that.
I'm like, oh, new. I mean, I'm 41 now. Like everybody's like, who cares? It's like a different,
Yeah.
it's like a new version of moms and they're in their 40s and da da da. I was like, you know what? You're right. But am I ready for that? Am I ready? But my son asked for a sister. I said, if it happens, then it happens.
Yes.
But we don't know if it's gonna be a girl or a boy.
Right. That's true.
What happens? And you're like, I wanted a girl, and it's a boy. Like you just never know. So
Yes.
yeah, I would. I always. I have to say, I'm on the fence. I would definitely be open to having another baby, but my husband's like, oh, they're so expensive, baby. He's like, that's what he keeps saying when I bring up another kid. He's like, they're so expensive, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, that's truth right there. But no, they just bring so much joy too. I mean, we have a party of 5, so I say, yeah, see how it goes, but don't
No,
rule
I'm
it out.
like Weatherspoon party of 5. That's so cute.
Right? Oh my goodness. I love that. And Titan named Noah, right? Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, he named him when he started to see my bump get bigger. I said, well, Titan, I was like, do you want to name him? He goes, really? I said, yes. I was like, you asked for him, you would name him. So he named him Noah. But here's the funny part. I had a choice between the name Beau, Beaux is how I wanted to spell it, or
okay.
Noah. And I had another name, and everybody was really kind of hating on my name. It was Sphere, Sphere. And I told my sisters, they were like, no, absolutely not. You're not naming my baby Sphere. So on the trip, I remember I was on my way back. I said, Titan, I got a name. He said, Mommy, wait, me first. I said, yeah. He said, his name is Noah. I said, that's
Did you read my list? Oh my goodness.
So I feel like me and Titan were connected in another life anyways. And now that Noah's here and his presence is just the way it is, he and I knew each other in another life. So we just all exist in this space here now. And it's so beautiful. I love my boys. I'm obsessed with them.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
What are just some of the funny things they've done lately, how they've surprised you?
Well, as good of a brother, as great of a big brother as Titan is, I also watch him just do big brother stuff like, put his foot out to kind of trip Noah. or just the fact that when he does that, Noah's like starting to catch on to that kind of stuff. And when he's close to Titan, he looks at him and smiles. And then Titan puts his head back and Noah grabs his head and pulls it down on the ground. I'm just noticing all these sibling rivalries now. And I'm like, oh gosh, well, this is light now, but what happens when they get older? And the dynamics are very interesting, but they love each other. Noah waits for Titan to enter a room. He waits for Titan to wake up. And whenever he hears him, he's like running to his direction. He thinks Titan is everything. And he is. But he just acknowledges and loves his brother so much.
That's the sweetest thing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. As we all know, kids can rock a marriage, and so can a pandemic. and I feel like it takes so much love and compromise and sacrifice and devotion to one another and the family. So, what are some of the things that you and Tim learned through these challenging times, and how has that made both of you stronger?
Communication. Self-time.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Communication, self-time is like really important. Like I'm in this space in the house where it's like really like quiet, and I like this part of the house, and Tim has his part of the house where it's just space and quiet, and we'll find ourselves there. And it's peaceful. You know what I mean? Sometimes during the pandemic specifically for us, because we're always traveling, we love being around each other, but also allowing each other like space to just is good too, and not taking it personal. But I think that for us, a lot of it is communication. and fun times. Like we went to a New Edition concert 2 weeks
Mhm.
ago, and we were dancing like we were like in our teens all over
Oh
again,
my
and
God, that's
enjoying each
amazing.
other's company and just laughing and smiling. And I was like, that is my best friend. Like we have a really good time together. You know what I mean? But it's
Yes.
important to have those moments all the time. Like a girlfriend of mine said, you should be out on a date night every week. I was like,
Yeah.
true. But sometimes we'll be like, oh well, I'm like, no, we're going to eat. Me and you are
Mm.
going to eat.
Right.
So or
Just to
some
keep that
yeah,
connection
something.
going, of
Exactly.
course.
It's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. It really is. I
Yeah.
think that's such great advice, to just to stay connected in a partnership
Yeah.
like that. What has your experience been as a working mom?
A learning one. A learning experience because um I feel like when I first started to get back out on the road after I had Titan, he was like a couple months old. Every time I got in that car, I was in tears. Every time I got in
Oh,
the car.
oh my God.
So working also allows me space to do the things that I love too. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
here I am with these two little balls of love, and I miss them when I'm away, and they're an extension of me. So that makes it hard, especially now that I have two. It makes it hard. Um, and they don't really talk on the phone as much as I would like them to. They're kids, so they're like,
Right.
no, I was having fun and you're now distracting that. I need you to get off the phone. So
Yes, yes.
that's how they are when I'm away. I'm like, well, I think the best part we have is like reading together at night. um and it's awesome. So I being a working mom is a lot of sacrifice.
Mhm.
It's also incredible because our kids get to see us fulfill our dreams and do the things that we love, and they get to see hard work. You know what I
Yes.
mean? They get to see that. Like I asked Titan one day, he was like, "Do you have to go to work?" I said, "Baby, this is like hurting me even more than it's hurting you." I was like, "But I completely hear you. I tell him when I'm coming back. I tell him when I'm going to call him and everything." I said, "But can I tell you one thing?" He says, "Yes, mommy." I said, "Do you like going on vacation?" He says, "Yes," because that's one of the things he loves. I had to start there. He's like,
Right,
"Yes." So I said, "Do you like this house?" "Yes." "Do you like?" I said, "Go open that refrigerator." He went to open the refrigerator. I said, "It's full of food." He said, "Yes." I said, "Go to your closet." He goes to his closet. I was like, "You have shoes, you have clothes." I said, "Go cut the water on." He cut the water on. I was like, "It works." I said, "It's
Yeah.
nice. It's clear. It's great, right?" He's like, "Yes." I said, "That's what mommy and daddy work hard for. Those simple
Yes.
things." I was like,
Yes.
I literally just want you to feel comfortable in your space. I want to make sure you have all the necessities. That's it." So he gets it. I haven't had
Mhm.
not one back and forth since that time.
Right. He's ready for the next vacation. He's like, "I'm not gonna complain about
He's
it
like, "I'm
anymore."
not saying nothing.
No. No, no. Yeah, and I love how you broke it down like that because I think kids just need some semblance of, like, how to put it all together and
Mhm.
understand that, we're not trying to be away from them, um, for that reason. We're providing, and that's another way that we're showing our love and our care. So
Mhm.
I think they definitely get that. And is that how you would kind of tackle the buzzword mom guilt? Do you feel that, or do you check yourself because you know you're doing the right thing?
Yeah, I check myself too. But when he cries when I leave,
Mm,
that's hard.
yeah.
That's really hard, especially because, you know, he did this one thing one time where he said, are you gonna be at I can't think of what it was. I think it was at a play date. And I was like, "Babe, remember I told you," I was like, I'm going out of town 2 days before that. "Well, can you come back?" And I said, "I can't come back." I said, "I come back the next day." why can't you come back that day? I need
Oh,
you to come. Like it was that.
right, right.
And so I come to find out all the rest of the kids' moms, except for two other kids, but all the other kids' moms were there. And
Okay.
his mom wasn't there, and those other two kids' moms weren't there. And so I called those moms. And I was like, their kid, is your kid giving you? They were like, oh my God. They were like, specifically this class. And I was like, okay,
Oh,
at least
man.
that's Noah screaming, pardon me.
Yeah, it's all good.
But
This is great.
they felt the same way I did. And one was actually a surgeon, and she was a heart surgeon, and the other one was actually on a trip overseas. So it's sometimes that happens. But that day he came home, I actually sent him a present. I made sure that he had a present to come home to. I wrote him a letter. I wrote him a letter, or had it written or whatever, and just told him how proud I was of him for this specific class that he took. And he felt better, but it was like, and I asked him all the questions about it, but then he didn't feel like talking because he wanted to play with the toy I got him.
Yeah.
So,
that's so funny.
cool.
But that's a nice touch. I feel like there's ways you can win them over again.
Yeah,
know?
I mean, you try. Like I said, you figure it out as you go with like being a
Yes.
working mom, and they're not gonna be happy every time, and you're not gonna be happy every time, and you have to make peace with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want to shift gears and talk about March of Dimes.
Mhm.
They have a 90-year legacy, and their ongoing work to improve maternal and infant health is more important than ever. And our nation is in the midst of a maternal and infant health crisis.
Mhm.
Um, the rates of preterm birth are increasing. The US is one of the most dangerous places to give birth in the developed world. And there are unacceptable disparities in birth outcomes between women and infants of color and their white peers. And I
Mhm.
want to go through some statistics to share with you and all those listening. So each year, about 700 women die from complications related to pregnancy. And for every maternal death, another 70 women suffer life-threatening health challenges. And that's over 50,000 women a year. Every 12 hours, a woman dies due to pregnancy-related complications. And Black women are 27% more likely to
Mhm.
experience severe pregnancy complications, and the rates of death of those who are over the age of 30 are 4 to 5 times greater than white women.
Mhm.
So these statistics are heartbreaking,
Yes.
and you've been involved with March of Dimes for many years, and
Mhm.
we're in the midst of this, a mother of a movement to
Mhm.
fundraise, educate, advocate for moms, especially those who speak up for themselves. So, what are some of the initiatives that are close to your heart when it comes to March of Dimes?
Oh my goodness. This one right now specifically being a big one.
Yeah,
I think for me, because I think about a specific story that someone actually told me. It was someone that I'm not exactly close to, but it's still too close.
hmm
Where there was a mom who went in and she knew something was wrong, and the doctors and nurse actually ignored her, and she ended up passing. And what was left, of course, is her husband and her baby on this earth without her. Now, what I know of this person is that their spirit was incredible. They were so excited to become a mother. So to have this exciting moment of your life and then your life is taken away from you is not fair. And I know for Black women, it's usually, oh, well, they're strong enough, or they're just crying about, why are they crying about it? Well, no, no question should be overlooked. If
yeah,
there's anything that a new mother is feeling, it should not go astray. The thought, the feeling, the question, anything about it should never go astray. It should not go unnoticed or not untreated. It's wrong.
yeah,
I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. It's wrong. And I think that when that happens, who's the one responsible? No one ever wants to point to point the blame or say who's responsible for it. But the truth is the truth. And it's like that part of it is just heartbreaking. So I say, pay attention to every single last one of your patients, every mother. She's a new mother. It doesn't matter if you think the question is the most ridiculous question. And it would be ridiculous if you thought the question was ridiculous, because
Yes.
it's just one seeking knowledge. That's it.
Right.
So if you're asking questions, have people around this ward specifically who care about every single detail there is about being with these mothers. You know what I mean? And making them feel comfortable to this new space that they already have to figure out on their own.
Exactly.
But lead, I say just lead with love. And that's what March of Dimes does. They lead with love every single time. It's always about the mother. It's always about the care of the mother. It's always about the best of the baby. And that's literally all you care about.
Yeah.
And I feel like people should take notice to March of Dimes and the way they do it, the way they care. It's at a different space, and it's very human. It's so human.
Yes.
And that's what I love the most about March of Dimes.
Absolutely. And it's something that we all have to be involved in and give back to, especially as fellow moms.
Yes.
And you mentioned this before, but it takes having this rock solid support system, and those in your corner. So who's in your mom tribe?
My mom tribe is my mama T, my BB, Cece, look, BB, Cece, all my girlfriends really. We swap stories, like all of my girlfriends. We figure it out. If there's something I feel like I'm not quite grasping, I always call and ask about it. Especially like when I have a girlfriend who has two boys exactly. But hers are 3 years apart. Yeah, 3 years apart. Sorry, 4 years apart. So I call her a lot.
Yes.
Yes, because I'm like, this is strange. He just tripped his brother. Is he supposed to hit him in the face? What do I do? I don't want to tell him to leave him alone for the 5th time. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? You're just figuring it out. But your tribe is everything.
Oh, yes.
They're
Absolutely.
everything. I'm so grateful.
Yes, yes. I feel like we, have WhatsApp threads that we're just messaging, is this okay? Is this okay? And I feel like, you know, especially when you're a first time mom, you're so impressionable, and it's your mom friends that are like, you need this, you don't need this, don't waste on this,
Yes.
and they just give it to you straight, and you feel like, thank you. Like I'm not going into this all alone,
Yes.
you have people who have your back. It just makes a world of a difference.
And I have friends who are like, well, yeah, I mean, I didn't do this, but you can try. And
Right.
they know good and well I'm gonna call them back in about a month and be like, why did you tell me to do that? Like, you were supposed to have no. She's like, some things I just let you do because you have to experience that. That's just a part of it. I was like, you're my one.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
And that brings me to mom sense. It's just this term that I've coined that I feel like we all have this built-in sixth sense. We have our intuition, and it's our superpower. And dads have their dad sense. Grandma has grandma sense. It's everybody has it. But for moms in this case, it's so attuned. So tell us an occasion where you trusted that mom sense of yours, and it just steered you on the right path.
A month ago.
Okay.
And I think it's mom sense, but it's also your ancestors helping you along the way. Because I felt like this was my mom. It was 2 or 3 something in the morning, and I caught a chill, and it was all I heard was Noah. And I got up, and I was like, it's cold. And then I'm walking, and it's like I picked up the pace. I don't usually, it's picked up the pace. I got in Noah's room, it was freezing. And I was like, oh my God. And of course we covered him with the little, full onesies. It was fleece, but his little nose was so cold. And
Oh
so
gosh.
the way the air is in the house is just so weird because where we were and where he is, it's like a little bit cooler down that way. So I was like, okay, cool. Um, Switched the air, of course, made it warmer, and he was fine. But I was like, thanks, mama, and I went right back to sleep. So it's several of those moments to where I walked out of the room today, and I just heard his caretaker. She's like, "Oh, Noah," and but I didn't see him yet. But I ran out because I just knew because Titan was the last person up the stairs that he did not close the little gate to the stairs. So
Okay. You just knew.
I
Wow.
so I closed the gate to the stairs, and here comes Noah springing out of his room because he wanted to go downstairs. He heard Titan downstairs. He heard Titan, and I think he was trying to go downstairs because the door opened. He's learned to open the door.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, but you have to baby proof and have those gates. Like,
Yes. So
wow.
we had the gate. The only thing is the gate was open. And I keep telling everybody, specifically Titan, I'm like, baby, please. I was like, you don't want anything to happen to your brother. He's like, I know, because he could fall down the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
um, I mean, you have such an angelic voice. We all know that, grew up with it. Is there anything that you find special to sing to your babies?
Um, Noah calms down when I sing, surprisingly, because he is on 10 all the time. If he's hollering, that's the only time I can get him to just kind of woosah. Titan was not like that. Noah just smiles and he just looks at me and then he wants to pull my face forward, which I love. So, yeah, I sing. What do I sing to him? Anything. The wheels on the bus go round and round to the itsy bitsy spider. He like loves all the little fun, you know, songs. So I just
Yeah,
sing those to him, and he's content.
I love that. But he's so lucky to hear it sung, so beautifully.
You're very sweet.
We're
Thank
just
you.
like we have parents tone deaf, whatever. It's not going to be like
By the way, if they
it.
sing Bruno one more time, though,
Oh my gosh, yes. It's all day in Kanto in this house too.
yes, this house is all about Encanto. As soon as he hears the "Put on the family, mother God," like he goes nuts, and he's just there like this. That's a good time that you can catch Noah sitting still. Because any other time
Oh my
you didn't
goodness.
see, but he's just literally running around in the backyard right now, just back and forth. And
Yeah.
trying to keep up with him is hard. He is moving.
Yeah. Oh wow. Kelly, what are you most excited about this year?
This year, I'm beyond excited about releasing my first children's book. I actually did it with another fellow mom. Our kids met at school and they literally became like freaking frat. They both love basketball. Chase is his name, and her name, of course, is Jessica McKay. And so we actually started like swapping different mom stories of just being away from home and and having kids and what that was like. And she said she had an idea for a children's book. I was like, well, let's do it together. So it's exactly what we did. And just the process of making it and having Fannie Lim as the illustrator, just all of it was incredible. And I just feel like it's a story that a lot of moms will be able to relate to. It's also like the first book, children's book, where you actually see an adult on a page, like by themselves, because the story is about, of course, between a mother and a son. So we experience all these emotions, and I think that as far as working moms are concerned, and everybody thinks that the kid is the only one experiencing emotions, and the parents do too. We miss our kids when we're at work. We miss our kids when we're traveling, and the dynamic is just really a real one. And we had a wonderful time, and I'm so excited about it. Always with you, always with me is what it's called, and I'm delighted, like beyond delighted right now.
Oh, we're so excited for you. That's on all of our gift list for Mother's Day is
Hey,
always with
thank
you, always with
you.
me. That's just so, so sweet. So let's play a quick rapid fire game. I'll say a word and you can answer with a phrase or anything that like first comes to your mind.
Okay.
And the first word is mother.
Motherhood.
Yes.
Motherhood. Oh, sweet.
Baby.
Innocence.
Pregnancy.
Wow.
That's a loaded one. Purpose.
Purpose. Oh, meaning.
Mm.
Yeah.
Love.
Family.
Family.
Love. Or home. Home. I would definitely say home too.
Nice. And lastly, legacy.
Legacy. Noah and Titan.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly. This
Thank
was
you.
really, really just an amazing chat. I feel like we have so much to learn from you and to celebrate with you. And you're always with us too, and we're with you too.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm just grateful that as a community, it was really dope speaking to you because I learned a lot too. And I think that as mothers, we have to always make sure our space is always like this with each other, like it's open to each other, so that we fall into it. We are open to, to our mistakes, open to our greatness, open to other, women, and imparting their wisdom. I think you have to always stay open. So thank you for your insight and your wisdom as well, and sharing your story as well. And to all of you who are watching this, thank you so much.